So what is a business, really? We hear that word thrown around all the time, but what does it actually mean? I promise you, it's way more than just suits and spreadsheets. Today, we're going to break it all down to its core essential parts. Let's jump right in.
Here's our roadmap. We're going to start super broad, with the things you do every single day. Then, we'll zoom in on the 3 main ways people earn money. From there, we'll figure out what actually makes something a business. Then we'll look at its 2 major sides, and finally, we'll follow a product on its amazing journey from a factory floor all the way into your hands.
All right, before we get into profits or marketing plans, we have to start with something much more basic. You. See, business is just one tiny slice of all human activity. So first, let's get the big picture of where it fits into our day-to-day lives.
I mean, think about your day so far. You woke up, maybe you made some coffee, you went to work or school. You're even watching this right now. Every action has a different reason behind it, doesn't it? And that simple idea, that distinction, is exactly where our story starts.
You know what's kind of funny, but running a massive company and just say brushing your teeth, they both fall under this big umbrella called human activities. But this is where it gets really interesting, because we can split every single one of those activities into 2 very different categories.
On one side, you've got economic activities. This is anything you do to earn a living. Your job, a farmer selling crops, you name it. But on the other side, you've got non-economic activities. These are the things we do for love, for personal satisfaction, like cooking a meal for your family or volunteering. The real difference? One's about earning, the other's about feeling.
Okay, so let's put those non-economic activities aside for a minute and really focus on that first column, the economic stuff. Because it's inside that world that we find what we're looking for, business.
So it turns out that when it comes to making money, there are really only 3 main paths you can take. Let's break down what they are.
Okay, check out this table. It lays out the 3 games you can play. First, there's business. You're shooting for profit, but that means you take on a ton of risk. Second, you have a profession. Think of a doctor or an accountant. You earn a steady fee for your special skills, so the risk is pretty low. And third, there's employment. You get a fixed salary, and you have basically 0 financial risk. It all comes down to this. The bigger the potential reward, the bigger the risk you've got to take.
So now we know a business is this high-risk, high-reward path. But what is it? Fundamentally. Let's zoom in and get a crystal-clear definition.
And there it is, our core definition. A business is all about making or trading goods and services with one main goal in mind, to earn a profit. Simple enough, right? Well, there are actually a few essential ingredients hidden in that sentence that we really need to unpack.
This is what makes a business a real business. For example, selling your old couch online one time. That's not a business. Why? Because a business needs continuity and regularity. It also has to have a profit motive. And maybe, most importantly, there has to be an element of risk. If you can't fail, it's not a business.
And I love this quote from Henry Ford because it gets to the heart of what a truly great business is. See, profit isn't the point. Profit is the result. The real goal is to serve a community, to solve a problem. A business that creates genuine value for people will, in turn, be rewarded with profit.
Okay, so get this. Every single business, whether it's a corner bakery or a giant tech company, can be split into 2 fundamental functions. You've got industry, the part that makes stuff, and you've got commerce, the part that moves and sells that stuff.
So first up is industry. This is all about creation. It's the part of the equation that takes raw materials and transforms them into useful goods and services. We're talking factories, farms, software development. This is where value is literally created out of something else.
But of course, making something is only half the story. You then need commerce. This covers all the activities required to get those freshly made goods and services from the producer all the way to you, the final consumer.
And industry itself comes in different flavors. You've got extractive industries, which are all about pulling raw materials out of the earth. You have genetic industries, which involve breeding and raising living things. Then there's manufacturing, which is all about converting those raw materials into finished products. And finally, construction, which, well, builds the world around us.
So, okay, let's imagine a factory just finished making 1 million new smartphones. Now what? They can't just sit there in a warehouse. This is where that second half of business, commerce, kicks into high gear.
Think of commerce as this giant, essential bridge that connects the factory to your pocket.
Its entire purpose is to solve all the problems standing in the way. The problem of distance, the problem of time, the problem of risk, and even the problem of you not knowing the product even exists.
And commerce itself breaks down into two pieces. First, you have trade. That's the simple act of buying and selling. But then, and this is the cool part, you have this massive support system called the aids to trade that makes modern, large-scale commerce even possible.
And these right here are the 5 invisible engines that power our entire economy. Transportation gets rid of the distance problem. Warehousing solves the time problem. It's why you can buy a winter coat in the summer. Insurance takes care of the risk problem. Advertising solves the information problem. I mean, you can't buy something if you don't know about it. And finally, banking handles the money problem. Without these 5 helpers, our global economy would just stop.
So the next time you pick up your morning coffee, think about it. An extractive industry grew the beans, a manufacturing industry roasted and packaged them, and this whole incredible chain of commerce, ships, trucks, banks, ads, brought that cup right to you. Business isn't just one thing. It's this amazing, interconnected system that touches everything we do. So what part of it are you going to interact with next?